Welcome in. Good afternoon. Welcome. Hope your day is going well. Sun in Aquarius, moon in Scorpio. You're in Aquarius? Really? Awesome. What's your channel? Really? I've been doing astrology for 26 years. You call that crazy? You don't have a website? You have a website that you go to pull up the charts? No. AstroSeek. What's your zodiac sign? Cancer rising? Aries rising? Cool. Yeah, AstroSeek is a good site. I don't know how well ChatGPT is though with the interpretations. It's better for you to get an understanding of the signs, planets, and houses and interpret it for yourself. That's the art. Um, the channel is on YouTube. It's called The Cosmic Alchemist. COSMIC. You might have spelled it wrong. ALKHEM. I spell alchemist ALKH. I wish I had a picture of how you looked when you turned around. When I said Aquarius, you were like, that is interesting. Is this YouTube? I put The Cosmic Alchemist. I don't see it. Is it? Okay, now. Yeah. Okay. There it is. That's me. Yeah. Does it say that I'm live? Does it say that I'm live at the top? Ah, it does. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Thank you. You too. So that was pretty cool. Doing astrology and found someone who's doing astrology. What's written? Welcome. How are you? Libra sun and rising and moon? No way. No way. Big three in Libra? Let me pull up a chart so you can see these signs. One of the best ways to comprehend astrology is to understand the symbolism. That is hard to believe. All three of the big three in Libra. Wow. Welcome. I'm well. Thank you for liking the live and subscribing. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Thank you so much for liking the live. The live thumbs up goal is 50 today. Let's see how close we get. Where do you send the donation? If you go to my bio, you will see either my Zelle or my Cash App. You'll see both, actually. If you send the Cash App, then put your birth information because I'm going to pull up your chart. And the deep dives are me looking at your personal chart and the transits. This is the transit chart. A transit chart is where the planets are currently located. And the best way to interpret your chart is if you're doing it on your own. ChatGPT is not bad, not a bad place to start, but knowing the basic core meanings of the planets, the signs, and the houses, those are like training wheels. You have your birth chart available. That's okay. You can keep your birth chart. That's fine. I just need the birth information because there's no way for you to pass me the birth chart. So, the birth information, I have a way to pull up the chart pretty quickly, actually. I'll see how many charts I could do and how many donation-based charts I could do in an hour. The Cash App is in my bio. The Zelle is in my bio. Either or. Hi, thank you so much for reposting. I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, you want yours read too? Let's do it. I'm here for it. How much is it? It's donation based, whatever your heart says for this live. Put your hand on your heart and ask your heart, what does your heart say? If you're seeing me on TikTok, you're the only one. I'm over here on YouTube doing deep dive donation based interpretations. Pulling up the charts on my trusty dusty laptop. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, thank you so much for the comments. Appreciate you. You're watching both? Let's go. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Welcome in. Hope your day is going well. Um, You can put your zodiac sign in the comments if you'd like. Well, let's pull this chart back up. Therese, thank you so much, Therese. Pulling up your chart now. Pulling up. I don't see your birth information. Oh, where is that? Oh, I do see it. Excuse me. I do see it. I see it. Pardon me. I gotcha. That looks like a birth certificate time too. Happy belated birthday, even though it was quite some time ago. Eh, not that long ago. 2 months. Oh, Charisse, I see you. Sun in Sagittarius, Moon in Gemini, Scorpio rising. Does this sound like you? Fire, air, water. Motivated, fire, air, intellectual, water, emotional. It all comes out in an emotional way. Greetings, welcome in. Welcome in. So the one thing that jumps out to me right away in your chart, for one, you were born a day before a full moon. You were. What does this mean? It means that the emotions, the feelings, the needs are heightened, if you will. The moon is amplified, filled. You could see more of the moon's circle than any other time. Preparing for a full moon in Gemini is what it was. So it highlights Gemini even that much more. And the planet Mercury in your chart. Mercury in Capricorn, even though you're a Sagittarius, right? The moon in Gemini, Mercury in Capricorn makes you so Capricornian. So Sagittarius is the philosophers, the teachers, the educator. It's the lover of adventure, lover of exploration. But with Mercury and Gemini fueled by that full moon, Mercury and Capricorn fueled by the moon in Gemini makes for you to be very interested and curious about ways to structure and be disciplined. And it might even make the mind very controlled in your thinking and processing of things. Are you with me? And very intuitive, Charisse. Very intuitive. Mainly because Mercury is so close to Uranus. You know, there's some estrangement with brothers, sister, cousins, close relatives. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but um, random knowings with no prompt. Welcome in. Oh, you have a twin. You're a twin. Interesting. That's pretty interesting. You know, and also The moon in Gemini also points to the importance of communication in relationships. Although Taurus is your seventh house cusp, most of Gemini is in it. And with the moon there, it makes for like you need energetically, you need people, you need to communicate and bounce ideas off other people. You have dreams and premonitions, I bet. Accurate ones. They don't always have to be dreams, too. They can be in the waking state as well. Another feature that sticks out to me in your chart, I'm supposed to be doing 15 minutes. These are 15-minute sessions. We do have a list. Sometimes I get excited. Let me check myself. Okay. Let me check myself. 15 minutes. Um, Another thing that jumps out to me in your chart is that you have Mars very near and dear the ascendant. There's a tenaciousness to you, you know, when it comes to going after your desires and what it is that you want. There's a headstrong, direct, if you will, forward thinking, sharp. You're about action. This is what Mars in Scorpio is, especially on the ascendant. Mars is sharp. Can be cutting at times. Also can be symboled as someone who is competitive, not for nothing. If you're a twin, I wonder how close you guys are, but maybe that's your competitive counterpart. You both have Mars on the ascendant. That's quite interesting. Maybe it's in a way that fuels each other. That's pretty interesting there. So I want to talk about the transiting sun a little bit in Aquarius here. It's highlighted. Let's see something here real quick. Let's pull up and see. Is that right? Okay. Um, yeah, the stellium in Aquarius. It's starting to die down now that Mercury is in Pisces. Now we had Pluto, Mars, Sun, Venus, and Mercury. Now it's Pluto, Mars, Sun, Venus, and Aquarius now. And so it brings a highlight to your fourth house, your living circumstances. I've known over the years for a highlight in the fourth house to be a time where an individual is focused on themes surrounding their living condition, for sure. Sudden and unexpected changes is the nature of Aquarius. And it brings a change of mind suddenly and abruptly to how one thinks and feels about their living quarters, which has been a focus for the past 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, energetically. I don't know if you moved a lot in your life, but I have found for chart configurations like yours that have thoughts surrounding, maybe this environment is not for me. Maybe it's time for me to be on my own. an independent streak, if you will. You've moved plenty of times. Interesting. So you come back to this moment, this phase. You know, Mars on the ascendant can be interpreted as independent. It can be. The root of the root comes from a desire. Desire to be still. I can see that. Karma is energetically, karma is influencing the fifth house, matters of the heart, things that you hold dear. Um, you're completing a cycle of respect, patience, karma, and boundaries and love affairs. Whether you're in a love relationship or you're looking back at relationships from the past, how you were respected, how you give respect, how others respect you. You know, life seems to be a little bit more serious. Kind of feel don't really feel like playing too much. You know, that's Saturn, the fifth house. Saturn is the planet that slows things down a little bit. You know, Saturn's been transiting the fourth house, but energetically, it also affects your fifth. The way your chart is situated, one interpretation for one house is also the interpretation for the next house as well. Not for nothing. And so over the past 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, testing, 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 testing. We're back. I paused your time with all that. I paused it. Okay. I'm gonna do one interpretation for you. So, got volume, not got milk, but got volume. Maximus, I see you. I hear you. Your reading's not done. Okay. This year, right? Starting, oh, well, this year, it finishes on December of 2026. I want to tell you that you're in a first house phase. And so that Mars that's on the ascendant, it's go time for you. Ever since your birthday, Mars is lit, taking action on what it is that you set in your heart, right? What it is that you want and that you desire. The green flag, the green light is lit for you. New beginnings, taking action, and pouring more into yourself, because that's what the first house is. Expressing yourself. I have this card that I put in my phone. Um, what is it? Communicating your experience with the intention of others getting it. Direct, being direct, and not for nothing and for something at the same time. You can track Mars. Mars is going to describe your year all the way up to your birthday. Now, with that Mars energy, be mindful. Mars is forceful, so sometimes you might need to balance that Mars. If you ever feel like a day where you don't get an opportunity to express yourself all the way, maybe a physical outlet like a walk, push-ups, sit-ups, Pilates, planks, one arm pull-ups, things of this nature. What else jumps out to me? Oh, here, I want to bring yourself. You got about 5 minutes, and then we're going on to the next interpretation. I think someone's on deck. Who's on deck? Excuse me. Um, I don't think anybody's on deck. Is anybody on deck? No, nobody on deck. So I want to bring your attention to this symbol here. This is Jupiter in Cancer. You see this? Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter does the best. It performs well in Cancer. I think it has ties to what we learned from our mothers, some type of fortune there. And so you're experiencing a Jupiter return. It already is in alignment. This is Jupiter at 16 degrees. In your chart, when you were born, it was at 7 degrees. I'm not sure if Jupiter goes back to 7 degrees. Maybe, maybe not, but it's still in its orb of influence. It still has an impact. That's wonderful. Living Waters, I appreciate you. Um, I'll see it when I go to Patreon. Right now, I'll talk to you here. Is that okay? This is a year of learning. This is a year of growth. This is a year of expansion for you. And it's intimate because it's in the eighth house. It's not only limited to intimacy with other people, though. I don't want you to think that it's only intimacy with others. It's intimacy with self and a rebirth of self through being informed. To be informed. This video is going to be posted too, so you'll have it. The eighth house is the house of intimacy. It's the house of shared resources. Quite simply, it's the what you're learning about what other people are worth. Whether you keep them, do you dispose of them, or recycle? I'll say recycle. Do you keep them? Do you recycle them? Does that make sense to you? So taking action and learning how to value others and what they're worth. Living Waters. I'm doing donation-based readings today on Sundays. Um, in my bio, I have Zells and Cash Apps. You can keep your birth information there, and you can also put it in the memo in the Cash App if you'd like. You could be next. I don't think there's anybody on deck. Okay. Um, it's important that like you're in a first house phase. First house has to do with Mars. Mars has to do with confidence. Mars has to do with taking action. Right? Sometimes we don't always get that from other people. And sometimes if we're dormant or we're sitting still or we come to a depressed thought in the past, it's a little challenging. So I would encourage you to activate the third house, right? For the rest of the Aquarius season. Activate the third house. What do I mean by that? What I'm trying to say is that the mind, right? Micro mantras might do you justice. It's a strong possibility. KN, my Zell name is in the bio. You should see it. It says Zell and then it says Cosmic Alchemist. Make sure you get the spelling correctly. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for liking the live too. The live goal is 50 likes. If you can only like the live with one account, share it with somebody who you know who might enjoy the live. Okay. Thank you for the subscription. Activate the third house, micro mantras, speaking to yourself out loud. Sharice, I'm proud of you, Sharice. You know, it's the mirror work. Mirror work. You know what that is? Mirror work. The people that you are around this past month, the energy shows enlightenment. You're enlightened by the people that you're around. If there's no enlightenment, then the time is we shrink the time. We shrink it. What else do we have here? You got quite the stellium in Capricorn, though. You know, when you put your mind to what it is that you want, you achieve great things. You achieve great things. That's powerful. And you've had a Venus return too, so you know, possibly and potentially there's some benefits through your relationships. Knowledge, mostly. You know, Venus and Aquarius is someone who appreciates knowledgeable people. This is the circle. The circle is someone who's bringing knowledge and can maintain and continually keep the knowledge and the wisdom that sparks the mind, the intellect. Thank you so much, Sharice. I would love to sit down with you and look at your progress chart. I would love to sit down with you and look at your progress chart. The information for that, I'm always pointing up here because I do on TikTok. I don't know if it's up here, but if you go to my bio, you should be able to see my website underneath the Cash App and the Zelle. Who's next? Thank you for the likes. We got 12 likes. The live goal is let's do 15. 15 thumbs up. We'll start there. We will start there. Oh, Zara. I missed Zara. Zara, how are you? Zara, Frida, thank you. Tamika, thank you. You're after Rita. Zara, Rita, Tamika. Zara, Rita, Tamika. Zara, Rita, Tamika. Zara, Rita, Tamika. Cherise, thank you so much for being thankful. I appreciate you. Subscribe. Subscribe. All right, let me get moving now. I got work to do. Thank you so much. This is gonna be I'm posting it. It's gonna be on here. So if you ever want to go back, you have it there. Okay. Let's go to Zara Land. How are you, Zara? Welcome. You just got here. Welcome. Be sure to subscribe if you like the live. I'm putting the birth information in. I'm not ignoring you. I'll be right with you. Your time. I haven't started the timer. It's 15 minutes. I'm doing 15-minute sessions here. Thank you so much for your patience, all of you. You're all stars. I don't care what YouTube says about you. Nolans? You from the Nolans? I don't have a very proper Nolans. Nolan accent. You can do my accent dirty in the comments. Cosmic Princess with a Z, special. I like that. Um, and you're an Aquarius. I'm doing donation-based readings. If you go to my bio, you'll see a Zelle and a Cash App there. You can put your birth information there. Be sure to have the time and the city and the state there. You like the way I say baby? The American baby? Baby. All right, let's get to work. We got work to do. All right, Zara, let's get you all set up here. The list is growing. No fooling around, lab coat. Get to it. All right, let's set the timer. Starting. Boom. So Zara, does this sound familiar? Sun in Pisces, Moon in Aquarius, Aries rising. Zara, stay focused. I don't know who Sun is. That must be a good person. Um, does that sound familiar? Sun in Pisces, Moon in Aquarius, Aries rising. I want to ask that question in the beginning before we get the rocking and rolling. Sometimes I get so excited and then, okay, perfect. Thank you. Sun in Pisces, water, emotional, sensitive, caring, 12th house, privacy, important, muy importante, very important in English for you to have your privacy, your download time, your not download, decompression time, right? One piece. Moon in Aquarius, knowledgeable, right? Friends that know shit, know things, rather, excuse me. And Aries is a leader, a warrior, a pioneer. This is how it comes out. It comes out in a pioneering way. Walk, 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 or want, want. Okay. One of the things that pops out to me right away, Zara, that's going to be a theme for the next 2 years for you, right? Is patience. It's interesting because, well, first, let me slow down. Let me digress. First, I want to say congratulations to you for your last 2 years, your performance for the last 2 years with learning how to respect yourself, respect others, slow down a little bit, right? Over the course of the past year, it's a little more intense. Um, Overcoming obstacles in relationships, right? Overcoming obstacles with your finances and such, we've learned possibly. Looks like you were born really close to an eclipse too. I don't know if that was a partial eclipse. Was that a partial eclipse? It was close. Close. Maybe it wasn't. It's still close. There. Do those things ring a bell? But over the past 2 years, it's been a little challenging. A day prior? Okay. And so the interesting thing about that is that you have another 2 years to remind you of the importance of patience, right? And slowing down. It's almost like if the universe was a person that was talking and was saying something to you, it was like, for the last 2 years, I'm going to show you these lessons. And you're like, okay, universe, I learned my lessons. Can I get out of my room? I'm like, the universe is like, no, you got 2.5 more years. Now we're going to make it more about how you express yourself and your personality. We want you to be a little more serious about yourself. We want you to spend a little more time with yourself, more time, more patience. Instead of, whenever you want to move quickly and impulsively, the universe is like, slow down, Zara, you're moving too fast. It has a lot to do with um, your finances. I don't know if you are a big spender or what that is, but um, or very stubborn or very, restricted. When you want what you want, you go for it in a big way, regardless of the fact of whom or what. The alignment of your Mars and Jupiter configuration there, all that's going to be slowed down a little bit. Your finances, something with your finances being slowed, learning how to conserve and do with less. That's what the universe has got going on for you. It's different for each Pisces, though. This is specifically for Zara, this chart here, specified to Zara. Not every Pisces has Mars and Taurus like Zara. Not every Pisces has a rising sign of Aries. You're about to get a huge lump sum. That's it, Zara. That's it. That's it. That lump sum, let this be the precursor to that lump sum getting. Let this be the precursor, because Saturn will be in Aries on February 14th. Okay. And so if you're going to get the lump sum after February 14th and it's within the 2.5 years, I would say that I wouldn't put it all in savings. Of course, organize, be structured with it, plan, have a plan. And that lump sum can turn into a lump sum if you plan it properly. Lump sums turn into lump sums. If we're talking about lump sums. But I'm talking about how Saturn's ingress in Aries over the next 2 years. You're saying that now, oh, I'm going to put it in savings, right? Maybe a savings that you can't touch. Maybe. That's the discipline. That's where the discipline comes. You say that now. That's one of the most important features. Now, in addition to that, I want to talk about this sun in Aquarius, this stellium here, right? This sun in Aquarius here, right? Pluto in Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius, Venus, Mercury just left, right? Mercury just left your moon sign, right? You're also very intuitive, Zara. Very intuitive and psychic, you are, right? Listening to that. Proper sleep, something that you might have learned over the past 2 years. Your rest, solitude, meditation. I meant contemplation. Meditation, contemplation, They don't mean the same thing, but time and solitude. Okay. So there's that. Um, Sun in Aquarius is your 11th house. I dream boards is what comes to mind. Like your plan, making your plan fun, like a picture, something that you can see that you're reminded of. Like I'm of the mind that you're an individual that sees things in pictures. Like let's say you had like that savings, right? That savings that you're doing, like maybe it surrounds a theme, right? I'm saving for this, and you made like a collage or vision board for it. Put it right by the light switch in your bedroom. Then it would become a way of life. Then it wouldn't be like an itch, a scratching on your back to dig into the savings, right? A plan in that way. Because over the past 2 years, it did have a little bit to do with structure, a little more. Do you see that for yourself? Now, what's interesting, the moon in Scorpio, you have an alignment coming up here from now over the course of the next 10 hours with the moon in Scorpio. The moon is in Scorpio now. You have Pluto in Scorpio. Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, transformation, right? I look at Pluto not only as death, transformation, and rebirth, but it's also the planet that kind of looks behind the scenes. Imagine an X-ray machine, where you're able to see through the person, only the bone, you're able to see the core, right? Pluto is the core, um, the depth of the soul. It's a little more intimate. It makes you think of the inner emotions, right, that are going on there. The moon is there, right? So you're in a phase of rebirth. Rebirth where? Rebirth with how you value others and are others worth it, right? That's a theme. Um, it's kind of connected to your lump sum, not for nothing. And I say that because Pluto's in Scorpio and your Mars and Jupiter are in Taurus. There, that opposition creates a relationship, or it creates this symbolism that has to do with a need for balance. Balancing your lump sum with balancing other people that are around your lump sums. Just saying. Um, you are also, let me see, did yours already come? Yours is coming up. So you're actually in a 12th house phase, and you've been in a 12th house phase, which emphasizes um the 12th house you experienced and have been experiencing themes, surrounding hidden potential is one theme, secret sorrows, right? Things that you'd like to improve with yourself. Come your birthday on February, you're going to be like pumped up, fired up, and ready to go. Excuse me, March. March, when your birthday comes, then you progress into a first house phase. So you're in transition. You're a transitional phase from the 12th house to the first house, from the dissolving and that which is old and the end of a cycle into a new cycle with taking action. Not for nothing. And that's where Aries is. Even though you have no planets in Aries, Aries is going to take charge energetically. And there'll be a highlight on your Mars. So doing things in a good way. Maybe we take out a little bit for our travels, for our journeys, if you will, because it looks like you want to go somewhere. What are you planning on going somewhere um, in April or May? Looks like May. Looks like May you're going to do some traveling. Right? You would even benefit by uh, taking a course or class or schooling too as well. You're not experiencing a Jupiter return. That was like 2 years ago, but Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries also, right? Saturn and Neptune both in Aries highlights your Mars and Taurus. Really? Well, we'll see. Still plays with cards. Not a problem. Welcome in. Be sure to like the live, subscribe. I'm doing donation based readings. Zara is up right now. I'd love to look at your chart. There's a Cash App and a Zelle. You can put your birth information, including the time and the city and state you were born in the memo. And you can be put on the list. Okay. Um, so yeah, Zara, that's what that's about for you. That's what I have for you. Um, taking action, maintaining your peace, patience, and structure. See if I have anything else in here. Isaiah, you didn't put none of your birth information in there. You put none of your birth information in there. We need your birth information in there. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Elite unit, triple eight. I'm over here on YouTube. Same name, same lab coat, same brown face. You're gonna love it. Come through. You can help us reach this thumbs up goal. We're almost at 20. We got 15 thumbs up right now. Lewis, you could put it there if you want. That's fine. Thank you so much for the donation. Stay tapped in. There's a list though. Okay. Zara, thank you so much. Let me see who's next. Zara, subscribe. I'd love to sit down with you and look at your progress chart. Okay, we did Zara. Rita, is Rita here? We got work to do. Back to work. Not Benita, but Rita Al Capone. Not Al Capone. Covington. Excuse me. I wonder if you've been and seen the Serpent Mound if you're from Ohio. Have you seen the Serpent Mound there? Yeah, it's both Cincinnati rounds. Sim, two ends. There. I still spelled oh, Cincinnati. AI. Still spelled it wrong? Oh, one T. Not 20, but one T. Okay. Thank you so much for your patience. Let's do we have you here? 22, Sun in Pisces, Moon in Scorpio, Scorpio rising. Where's the location? Um, Peebles, Peebles, Ohio. Great Serpent Mound is located at 3850 State Route 73, Peebles, Ohio. It is situated in Adams County in southern Ohio on a plateau overlooking Ohio Brush Creek. The site is managed by the Ohio History Connections, a very old serpent mound. Anywho, we'll get into that in a later video. Um, Lewis, hang on, brother. It's not your turn. You don't know the time? You think it was born? You have time to go check. Call mom. Call mom. Ask mom. Rita. You'll visit? Thank you. I would like to visit there too. I want to see it in real time. Um, so Sun in Pisces, Moon in Scorpio, Scorpio rising. Serious. Stellium there in Scorpio there that you have there. Powerful. Quite literally, the zodiac sign Scorpio is, where are we? Here. The zodiac sign of the Scorpion with Stinger included. With Stinger. It's intense. It can be intense. Right? I found that these Scorpios, at an early age left home due to the freedom that they wanted, that they didn't get, that they weren't getting. I'm out of here. You're not going to treat me equal. You're not going to allow me to have my freedom. I'm out of here. Right? Pluto on the ascendant, tenacious. Right? Speaking about desires and going after the desires, it's a gift and a curse. Why is my fifth house so intense? Your fifth house was so intense because Saturn has just gone through there over the course of the past 2 years. Ma'am, it's taught you how to slow down a little bit in love. It's brought you lessons. It's not brought lessons, but the symbolism behind Saturn in the fifth house, it touches upon matters that you hold dear to the heart. Children, right? Things that you love, play, recreation, entertainment, intimacy, right? On a love leveled intimacy, right? Enjoyment, creativity, you know, it came to a halt. I recognize that this is the time where people, um, they have to become a parent more. The parenting, there's a maturity level that steps up when it comes to the children and children. Even if the children are no longer babies, if they're adults, even the first child comes back. I need help. Get out of here. You're old. I don't, not helping you. Do it on your own. Figure it out. Mom, no. Help, mom. Right? Also, past lovers, even. Even if they don't come back and even if you don't get back with them, you start reviewing them, you start looking at them in your life. You're like, oh, wow, 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 wow. I was looking for respect there. Is that what that was? You start realizing, you start learning about, what happened in those circumstances. So, short answer, Saturn. Why? Because Saturn is the planet that deals with less being more, less being the lesson, less being how you grow. 2 years ago is when it all started. Okay, so that's the answer to that question there. I want to bring in attention to the fourth house here, because the fourth house for you is lit. Your foundation, your root, reestablishing your foundation, your not your core, but your foundation. The fourth house has to do with the home, the family, the domestics. There was a lot of planets in the fourth house. Might be some turbulence there, right, over the course of the past 2 weeks. Maybe themes surrounding independence. Again, themes surrounding freedom. Again, you also had a Venus return What does that mean? Venus is at 27 degrees Aquarius. Now, 2 weeks ago, Venus was in alignment with where Venus was when you were born. What does this mean? It comes back to your likes, what you appreciate, how you appreciate things, how you appreciate others, what you would like in your house. Did you just purchase something for the house? New gadget, a new electronical equipment, some type of equipment for the home? Brings reunions of brothers, sisters, cousins, close relatives, and themes surrounding your early childhood, even. Relationships with siblings come to the fore. Last week, Mercury came back to where it was when you were born. Right? Already, the fact that your big three involves water signs. There's also there what comes with that energetically is an inner knowing. And Aquarius is a zodiac sign that plays a part in knowledge and awakening, shaking you to your core, if you will. Oh, wow, I didn't look at it like that. The wow factor pops up in your relationships and through communication. Let's do a calculation for you real quick. Okay, so you're in a seventh house phase. You're in a seventh house phase. So from now until your birthday, which is this month, so you're already starting to feel the shift. You're going from the seventh house to the eighth house. You're going from relationships to transformations and renewing yourself from relationships on all levels. It's not only limited. When I say relationships and I'm pointing to the seventh house, you know that the seventh house is relationships, but the seventh house is also, thank you for liking the live. I appreciate you in the subscriptions. The seventh house is also the house of contracts and agreements. This has been a year of agreements. It's a house of agreement. Cosmic Goddess, how are you? Welcome. What'd you miss? You missed the beginning, the earlier parts, but you're right on time. I'm doing deep dive donation based readings. If you go to my bio, you'll find my Zelle and or my Cash App. You can put your birth information in the memo and Cash App, and you can send it to me. You can put the birth information in the memo and the Zelle. Yes, you are lovely. I appreciate that. I could tell, right? So, Living Waters, you don't have to tell us the whole circumstance. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Let's reflect at this moment. Let's reflect. It's not my intention to interpret the placement of the planets when you were born as an energy that is descriptive of your experiences for you to tell us the story in the comments. I don't know if I told you congratulations and you've done good work for the past 2 years. For you recognizing that situation sounds like a tough one, and it looks like it points to Saturnian themes with respect and authority and boundaries. You needing your boundaries, right? You have the option to express yourself in a way that's similar to or in the fashion of a contractor. the seventh house, the seventh house is like a contractor for real. The seventh house phase, when we go through seventh house phases, like you've been going through a seventh house phase, you've been like a contractor. What I mean by that, what I'm trying to say is that you've been contracting. I agree with this. I don't agree with this. Your brother comes, hey, I agree with this. I don't agree with that. Da da da. Oh, you need this. You need this. You need. Let's talk about it. Let's have an agreement with this. Let's have some agreement, some negotiation, and respect my boundaries. This is what the past 2 years has been about. Don't be sorry about having chime. You have chime. Chime is perfect. I don't have chime. Um, I think I do have chime, but we're not doing chime at this moment. That's fine. We'll have to find a way for you to chime in. Maybe somehow. We'll look into that. Each life gets better. Are you with me? So the sun in Aquarius, we still have like 10 more days, or there's 10 more days, 11 more days of the energy of Aquarius. And so being true to yourself and knowing your worth is a focus, is an energetic that's worth maintaining and knowing for yourself. You already know that. I'm reminding you of that. And no is a complete sentence. That's one thing that you've learned how to do. A joyful way to say no. Because I say no doesn't mean I'm mad. How about that? No, brother. No, sister. All right, that's what I have for you, um, Zara. You're doing well. You've done well. Now Saturn goes into Aries on the 14th, into the house of health. For you to take care of your health. Are you with me? Emotional intelligence comes with the love of the self. What does that look like? That looks like, micro mantras. That looks like sleep, sufficient sleep. I'm not going to say proper sleep. I'm going to say sufficient sleep. Um, Emotional intelligence comes with you having a routine, nightly routine. That's what that looks like. When as Saturn's making its transition from Pisces to Aries, from your fifth house to your sixth house, we can read that in a cohesiveness as a wave and say that it's a love, fifth house of health, a love of healing, love and healing. They're adjacent to each other, the fifth house, sixth house. Saturn is teaching love and healing, or love through healing, loving yourself, and then healing comes, boundaries and then healing, routines and healing. Looking at Saturn and being patient. You have Mars in the first house, and it's very near Saturn and the moon. So I would say your entire life, you've learned how to be patient. So the last 2 years have been a little challenging for you. So that's what I have for you. I would love to sit down and look at your progress chart with you. Um, who's next? Tamika. Thank you for being thankful. I appreciate you. Okay, you had a birthday not too long ago. Happy belated, belated birthday. Excuse me. That looks like a birth certificate time. Kinda. Okay, gotcha. Another Scorpio rising. Sun in Sagittarius, moon in Capricorn, Scorpio rising. Does that sound like you? Okay, so bow, bow. Got this like this. Bow. All right, let me get a little sip of this water. Yep, perfect. Sun in the first house. The first house is the house of the persona, how it sounds. The sun is symboled as can be interpreted as vitality, what you give life to. You give life to being heard, right? Another individual who's more psychic, very tapped into um, your spiritual nature. Excuse me, Sagittarius is the fire sign. So there's an enthusiasm, there's an energy, there's a teaching energy there, a teaching psychic. Man, I don't know if you teach people how to be psychic, but maybe teach people how to access and exercise and activate the psyche for someone to tap in. It points to dreams and the dream state, the subconscious is what it points to with the sun so close to Neptune like that, right? The moon in Capricorn is an earth sign, so it's grounded. You have a little bit more than a little bit. I appreciate the modesty, right? The moon in Capricorn. It looks like you were born very close to an eclipse. Interesting. What does that mean? It highlights the ability to be disciplined for you. The moon in Capricorn, I've over the years I've recognized it brings some toughness and some coldness to emotions. And some individuals I've seen it be motionless. Not that an individual doesn't care, but the way that they show care and emotions is in a little more. It's rougher. It's a little colder. You know, stern, if you will. Um, Rising sign Scorpio. In your chart, what Mercury sticks out to me with your ability to communicate and share your message. Meaning exactly what you say, saying what you mean, and meaning what you say is important. And it's reflective. It's someone who's a deep thinker, an individual who does research as well, right? It's interesting because it looks like over the course of the past 2 weeks or so, a little under 2 weeks, maybe the last week, a little over a week, there's been a highlight on education and learning. I don't know if you took uh, a training or a class or you thought about going back to school, but you're in a phase now with the sun in Aquarius and all these planets in Aquarius wanting to do and reactivate. right? It's a reactivation of learning. You got a promotion. And so with that promotion, I'm wondering if it's tied, if there's some education tied to that promotion, or it brings you to be someone who um, you become like this teacher with that promotion. You get into teaching. Maybe it's teaching what you know. Maybe it's not schooling or training, possibly. Thank you for the double taps. There's teaching with it. Okay. So we're not too far off, you know. In addition to that, if you look at your chart, you know, you're a late Scorpio. What does that mean? That means that quite a bit, 22 degrees of Sagittarius is in the first house. So you can read yourself as a Scorpio rising. You can also read yourself as a Sagittarius rising. You can read yourself as Aquarius in the third house. You can also read Aquarius in the fourth house. So with that and that learning, you're also learning and have learned or have been expressing your mind a little bit more and also working on your mindset. Maintain that mindset. You know, it's from um, with Jupiter and Aquarius and Pluto and Mars so close there, it's a reactivation of like learning. It's going back into accumulated learning, like what you've learned in the past, and then bringing it to the fore, if that makes sense. That's probably what got you that raise is the reactivation and saying, hey, no, Tamika, let's reactivate this knowledge. We're not too old. Let's get it going. Let's get it rocking. Let's get it rocking. Right. So there's that. Um, I wanted to do a calculation. Did I do that calculation? Where is it? I did the calculation. Okay, I did the calculation. Let's see what phase you're in. Um, you're in a sixth house phase. Interesting. So in addition to that promotion, obviously that belongs to work. Steward, Nathaniel, hi, how are you? Thank you for the like and the subscription. Appreciate you. You're in a sixth house phase. What does that mean? It means that you're in a phase where your health comes to the fore, themes surrounding your health, hygiene, and routines. Notice how smooth things run with routines for you. Is that something that's coming up though? Let's see what I calculated. It's something that's coming up. You're in a fifth house phase right now. So this year is fifth house into the sixth house. The closer that we get to your birthday, which is more towards the end of the year, right? And so, what are the fifth house themes? The fifth house themes are love, joy, entertainment, and respecting yourself. That's child work, inner child work, to be specific, right? All you Scorpio risings have Pisces in the fifth. And so Saturn over the course of the past 2 years. So you also would be one of the ones who have been reflecting on relationships from the past, right? And doing some healing or dissolving of those situations, even if the individual is not in your life. It's interesting to me when people say, "Oh, I'm not in a relationship." You're always in a relationship, or you're either in one, you're either coming out of one, in one, or going towards one. Neither here nor there, you know. And it affects your heart in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be someone who you're intimate with, for real. And also, the fifth house also has to do with children as well as your inner child as well. So it's respect for yourself. It's establishing boundaries and learning how to say no, even to your children. Saying no to your children, if you have children, if you have children. Can you hear me still? Testing, 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 testing. Mic check. Testing, testing, testing. Cherise, I appreciate that so much. Keep that up. You're going to get a badge, ma'am. I appreciate that. so much. Can you hear me? Testing, testing. Grandchildren are still children. I just want to be sure you can hear me. Yes, you can hear me? Loud and clear. Perfect. Thank you so much for the response. Quick response. Right. So, the children, but you've come to the close. That's coming to a closure, right? It's coming to a closure and it's going into the sixth house, fifth house to sixth house. Saturn is kind of on track with your phases, if you will, by perfection, if you will. What does this mean? It means that, learning how to say no, right? Learning how to respect yourself and loving yourself through establishment of boundaries and becoming a little bit more serious about your health, even including your sleep patterns, you know, because the sixth house is exactly in an exact relationship with the 12th house. The 12th house is what I say is the house of sleep and rest, right? The sixth house is the house of health and hygiene. One of the number one medicines for an individual's health is sleep or to rest. If you can rest and sleep, that's what that is. So I see a little bit of that, right? Um, Also, the sun is in Aquarius. I said the affirmations, I said mindset. Um, I also recognize that Aquarius in your fourth house is a need for independence and freedom in your own home, right? Need for independence and freedom in your own home. And the leaving of the household at an early age because of freedom or the lack thereof, right? We got that. Um, oh, and you're going through a Chiron return. Interesting. So Chiron is positioned in your fifth house. So that's a secondary testimony that points to the reflecting on your relationships from the past. The respect that you got, not only relationships, but also any authority figure, at the workplace, standing up for yourself and speaking your piece too. That's powerful. And so the sixth house phase from the fifth house phase to the sixth house phase, when you were born, Mars was in Aries. That's something that's sticking out to me in your chart. Mars is the planet, it's the god of war, not for nothing. It doesn't mean that you have to go to war with other people, but when it comes to war, you use all of your tools to defend yourself. And so we can look at that and turn that into either a psychological or a mental um, concept and symbolism to be applied in the defending of oneself and through speech to protect one's psyche, um, and to defend their field, so that people know exactly where you're coming from. At the workplace, the activation Saturn and Aries actually is a time frame where you learn how to be more serious about your health in addition to that raise that you got. That's a big focus. The sixth house is a big focus with the phase that you're in according to your age as well as Saturn, right? Because your health, like simple things like stretching, Tamika, very important, so big for you and maintaining your youthfulness. Walking, stretching, movement, you know, hip circles, whatever the case may be, is a serious. It's time to get serious about your health, for real. And it's little at a time too. The Saturn is a planet that says less is more. So you could like don't have this because sometimes you can be intense, right? You can go to extremes, like Oh, I got to go to the gym. I got to run 300 miles in a week. Not so much. Relax. Set less is more. Right. And so what does that look like? That looks like a routine. The sixth house has to do with routines and health. You already would have, you can already see this down the future. You've already looked at this a little bit. I'm just pronunciating it a little bit more. Right. We've already looked at this, a year ago and kind of put it off to the side. Oh, I got work to do. I'll get to that. I got time. Right. The time stretching, you don't even have to get a gym membership. It could be as simple as when you wake up early in the morning, you're in the bed stretching. Let me grab my knee. Let me grab my knee. Let me stretch that out. Let me stretch my buttocks muscle. That feels so good. Thank you, lab coat, cosmic alchemist. I'm so thankful. You can do it right where you are. You can do hip circles right in the bed. You can Google and look at routines I can do in my bed before I even get out. Spend like 20 minutes, wake up a little bit earlier, right? It's really Aries is really is the head and the face, so it makes me think of the stretching of the jaw and stuff like that. You can pull a muscle in the jaw, don't get it twisted. You can pull a muscle in your tongue. Well, my point is movement is health and well-being, you know, mainly because this is the phase that you're in, right? And Aries is the zodiac sign that's situated in the sixth house for Scorpio risings. Um, and these are things that you already know. You already know that, right? This is just confirmation there in addition to that. Um, what else do I see here in your chart? The moon is in Scorpio now. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the moon in Scorpio here a little bit, because the moon in Scorpio is not a light thing. It's not a light energy. It brings a little bit more depth. Ask for your number with Zell. Okay, just do Cash App then. It's asking for my number with Zell. You can bypass that. If you got the spelling of the name, does it give you an option? Bypass that. If you got the spelling of the name, I put the correct name there, and I'll confirm it. Maybe do $1, KN. Do $1 first, and I'll confirm that I received it. Do something, you know what I'm saying? To test it. And this way I'll know. Thank you so much for commenting. I appreciate you. Tamika, back to you. The moon in Scorpio, right? At 11 degrees. Not a light thing. Look, notice the stinger. Notice the stinger here. This stinger has poison in it. The scorpion has a stinger of poison, not necessarily that it can injure us. Well, I mean, you will get a mark or a scar, a bruise, but it brings that to its prey, right? And that can be interpreted as depth, right? It's a water sign, so it deals with the emotions. We're a little bit more emotional based on feeling, right? So in your astrological chart, when you were born, Mercury, which is the planet of the mind and the thinking and the processing of thoughts, integration, right? It's important for you. You're a little bit more emotional with the words and how you speak, letting people know how you feel. You know, Scorpio has to do with transformation. Quite literally, the stinger. A mosquito. Mosquitoes, I think, are scorpions because they inject you with other blood. Anyway, we'll get into that in a later video. Scorpions are Scorpio, and mosquitoes are Scorpio. But what am I saying with that? I'm saying that what I'm trying to say is that the moon, the transiting moon in alignment with your Mercury brings you to, it's an energy that can be interpreted where the thoughts, the relaying of information and letting people know how you feel. And it could even be a matter of you sitting with yourself and writing down what you've come to, what changes have been made over the course of the past 30 days, right? To be renewed and to pour back into yourself. mentally, because this is like a clock. This is like a rhythm. It shows the rhythms. The moon is coming back. It's like right here ish for you. The 12th house. It's in the 12th house phase. The 12th house is reflecting out with the old. It's dissolving. What does that mean? What does dissolving mean? It means dissolving all that has been accumulated. It comes. This is a dumping spot, right? Time to reflect. Let's take a deep breath. Let's write down what we've done over the course of the past 30 days. Oh, I like that. I did that. I like that. I did that, did that, did that, did that, did that. And what does that do? That brings us to some realizations about ourselves, right? Moving forward, how much potential that we actually have when we reflect over, oh, wow, 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 right? Especially with this promotion, because now you got that promotion. Now that's required, you got bigger shoes to fill now, right? So your mindset is important. What is it? Today's Sunday? Today's Sunday? Right. So your rest is important, mind to be clear so you can be there early in the morning, pumped up, fired up, and ready to go. For real. So that's significant. That's what I have for you. I would love to sit with you and do a progress chart. How do you do that? You can do that through checking out my website. I think I got to visit my website and make some adjustments on, excuse me, my services. Um, thank you so much for your patience. Also, I got a Discord. I'm not going to tell you about the Discord because I got to figure out what's going on with that. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for the support. I appreciate you. There's more to come. Um, thank you, Tamika. Um, who's next? Isaiah. Are you still here, Isaiah? Tamika, thank you. Thank you for your subscription. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate all of it. Honestly, I do. Louis, thank you for responding. All right, now put that birthday in there, buddy. Let's get it going. Thank you for your patience. Hey, Ann, time to reconnect. Reconnect? Time to reconnect. K Ann. Oh, there's you. I didn't recognize the name. I'm like K N K N K N K N K N. Okay, tomorrow morning you can reconnect. I'm up whenever you're ready. I'm not gonna put a time on it. Whenever you're ready. How does that sound? Tamika, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You sent the Zell? Let me see if it worked. I gotta let me remind me. I'd love a reading. Here on live, we could do that. I'm Lewis. Let me get to Lewis first. I start swiveling. Oh, it's not Lewis, it's Louis Isaiah. Lou Isaiah. Isaiah. Thank you for your patience. You said you didn't know the time, Lou. Um, you said something about 2. Is that 2 a.m. or 2 p.m.? Did you call your mom and ask your mom? Help me out here. Help me help you. Wow, this is a great one. This is a great one. Um, you think 2 a.m.? Thinking and knowing are two completely different things. I don't even really like thinking about the time of birth. If we don't know, then it's going to be a little bit off. What city and state? I was born on my mom's birthday. That's the only reason why I know the time. Interesting. That's actually an interesting feature. You were born on your mom's birthday. You and your mom are doubly connected. Not for nothing, because you have the moon in Scorpio and your mom is a Scorpio. No, that's not accurate. Your mom is a Pisces. You were born on your mom's birthday, so you're both Pisces. Richmond, Virginia. Thank you so much, Rich. And I'm so thankful for my memory. Starting to get managing a memory base. 2 a.m. So you and your mom experienced the past 2 years have been tough for you and your mom. You've been connecting a little more with your mom too. That's powerful for you. Um, 2 a.m. So Lou, you don't really know your chart, really. You don't know what your rising sign is. According to the time that you've given me, the birth date with the time, I got the sun in Libra, moon in Leo, and a Leo rising. But we don't really know if that rising sign is accurate. The moon sign, we could say is probably accurate because the moon is in Leo for 15 hours after this, which is possible you could be a Virgo moon. 15 hours. Let me see, 15, 17, 17. Nah, we'd have enough. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Well, yeah, so you could have the moon in Virgo if you were born well past that. But 2 a.m. is the beginning of the day. You really can't do the rising sign here for you, bub. Right? You really can't do the rising sign for you. So it's the sun in Libra, moon in Leo, or it's the sun in Libra, moon in Virgo. I mean, laughing is one way to express the endearment for this chart. And there won't be a preciseness in regards to the rising sign. But we can still interpret some of the features in the astrological chart other than the moon sign and the rising sign. Um, you are, let's get your age. You're at a pivotal age, actually. Can you see? A little bit early. You're approaching the critical age. 27. Um, but you're gonna be 27, so you're 26 right now. 24, 25, 26. You're in a third house perfection year. Not for nothing. What's the third house? The third house in astrology is the house, the theme surrounding mindset, as I've already said. Um, Relationship with the brother, sister, cousin, close relatives. This has happened. These themes may have popped, or you've noticed an emphasis in that area of your life since your birthday, since your last birthday. Right? We can put you. I'm going to put you as a for time. I'm going to put you as 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and put Libra right on this end. And because that will give me a little bit of understanding about who you are at your core. Um, Living waters, hold that for a moment, hold that thought. I definitely want to get to that. Definitely want to get that. Let me get Lou here for a moment. Oh, that's cool. Let's set a timer for Lou. Boom. All right, so Lou, this is what I have for you. I'm going to start off with the sun in Libra. Because the sun in Libra has to do with scales. It has to do with the scales. It's symboled as the scales. No need to apologize. Excuse me. It's fine. It's all right. You're all good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. This is Libra. It's supposed to be the symbol of the scales, justice, equality, right? This is the energy that comes with the zodiac sign Libra, where the sun was when you were born, right? The sun doesn't really do the best in Libra for its energy expression because the sun is at its fall, right? The days are starting to get shorter. We got the clocks. We turn the clocks. The fall of the sun, right? It's fall, and the days. This marks the point where the days get considerably less. It doesn't mean that you're a falling down type of person, though. It means that the energy that stems from you that you experience in your life are themes surrounding balance, right? Equality, justice, fairness. This is the equalizing. It's considered the equinox. You were born 11 days after the equinox. Are you with me? And so that's the sun sign. Now, in addition to afternoon, welcome. Welcome. I am Artemis. How are you? Right on time. We're doing deep dive donation based readings. Cash apps and Zells are in the bio, right? Now, I'm going to interpret the moon in Leo with your sun in Libra. Libra's an air sign, and it's the symbol of the scales, deals with balance and intellect. The moon and Leo is a fire sign. Leo is the sign of attention, right? The moon is what we need. You need attention. You need love. Love is important. We all need love. I got that and I get that. That's accurate. You know what you're thinking. But in addition to that, maybe a little bit more, right? Maybe the mother, which is what the moon symbolizes and signifies in the chart. The mother gave you a little more attention, maybe because you needed it, possibly. Or maybe you're the oldest. Maybe. I don't know. You know, I've noticed through the years of an individual who has the moon in Leo, the expectations of the mother are high. Not for nothing, right? So there's that. Uh, this stellium in Aquarius here, right? For a Libra, it impacts the fifth house. What does this mean? It touches upon your creativity. You need love in my LL Cool J voice is perfect. Living Waters. I don't know if Lou knows about that song. Might be um you might be too young for that, for the LL. But anywho, um, it's a time for creativity for you over the course of the past 2 weeks, energetically. Without knowing the time of your birth, we can read you to the core, starting from Libra, and the alignment of this group of planets in Aquarius activates themes surrounding what you love, enjoyment, play, um, being inventive, creating things. That's one of the things about Libras, right? Libras are very inventive, even to the decor, right? Their style. Maybe you have good style, Lou, possibly. Fashionable, fashion trends, maybe, with the dress. It's interesting, the style of dress, not that you wear a dress, but the style of dress, the clothing is what I mean. How you put the clothing together, creative. It's interesting that um, when I look at your chart, even without the time of birth, there's a connection between Libra and Leo. There's a connection between Libra and Leo in your chart. Why? Because Venus is in Libra. Venus is the ruler of Libra. So there's a connection and tie between relationship, this fairness, this balance, and love. Where's love? Love is here, Leo. And the way you express yourself. The way you express yourself in relationship is that um, we can put that together and we can alchemize the Libra and Leo with air and fire. Air signs are intellectual. Air signs are the signs that communicate, are more communicative. Fire signs are more expressive and about action, right? You might be an individual who's about that action, right? Now that I look at it a little bit more, if and in you were born at 2, or even if you were born between 2 and 7 a.m., the moon would still be in Leo. What's interesting about that is you have the moon and Venus in Leo. So there's a lot of love that comes from the mother, and support that comes from the mother, financial support even. Interesting. And it doesn't necessarily only have to be limited to financial support, but it's comforting. Venus is what we need and how we're comforted. And, well, excuse me, Venus is what we appreciate, what we like, and our value system. And the moon is about what we need, how we're comforted, and it symbolizes the mom. Those two planets, when they're together, brings comfort that comes from the mom. Not for nothing. Um, Another thing that pops out to me in your chart is Jupiter and Saturn. You were born during a couple of critical um, conjunctions that were happening. One is Jupiter and Saturn. They were both together in the zodiac sign of Taurus. Jupiter and Saturn together are about big, massive lessons in the life of the individual. Massive, humongous lesson. You also have another uh, critical conjunction, Neptune and Uranus, or Uranus in Aquarius, which adds on to your inventive ability and your ability to be creative. Um, Wide range of friends, um, inventing new ways to engage with groups, um, communities, possibly. But Jupiter and Saturn in Taurus and Neptune and Uranus is a dynamic about values. It's interesting because this month speaks a lot about that, about knowing your worth. That's powerful, you know. Um, I wonder what your rising sign is. I don't know what your rising sign is. Fumble bear. I do have a technique. I do have a technique to be able to get the rising sign approximately within like 5 degrees, I would like to say. Am I a fashion designer by passion? I'm not. Lou, are you? I don't know if you're asking me or Lou. I'm not a fashion designer. Thank you if you think my design is fashionable. Um, Total accident. Okay. Living Waters wants to help you find your rising sign. Look at that. We have more than one way to get your rising sign configured. A hip lumberjack? You're saying that just because of the flannel shirt. Living Waters, I appreciate that. Hip lumberjack is perfect. Artemis, thank you so much. Um, you're next. You're next. Um, that's what I have for you. Um, Lou, if you'd like to, uh, I think you should look at your birth certificate. I'm pretty sure the time is there. And if you want to have a sit down where um, I would ask you a couple of private questions, a couple, two, three, four private questions, some dates, some events in your life, and I'd calibrate your rising sign. Okay. Thank you for your subscription, and thank you for your likes and your patience. Ask your mom and come back. And we do donation-based deep dives on Sundays. I might add another day, but for now it's on Sundays. I did it yesterday too, but I needed rest. I was drained. I'm a morning lumberjack type of guy. I'm a hip. I'm a lumberjack hipster that prefers the mornings. Yeah, Sharice, I'm actually on here during the weekday. I've been coming on here between 3 and 4. Really 4. I wake up at 3. I do a little routine, do the hokey pokey. Um, and then I get on around 4, 3:34 between that time. I'm on a quest to hit my milestones on here on YouTube. Why not? All right. All right. Um, thank you so much. I am Artemis. You're up. Um, let me look at pull your chart up. Mhm. Okay. Louis, thank you so much. Live and in color. Um, I don't really like the word color for describing me for color because I'm not colored per se. More of concentration of melanin percentage specifically. But I would range that from 11 to 4ish. 11 to 4ish. I'll open up the window a little bit more so I can climb through it. You know. Oh, it was meant to aura. I didn't know it was meant I like that pivot. I like that rotation off the pivot. You must be a basketball player. That's perfect. It made me think of In Living Color. And perfect, perfect. No, I didn't say that. I didn't. No, I didn't say that. Okay. Thank you so much, um, living water. Appreciate you. I didn't even mean to show it. All right. Stay focused. It's all love. It is all love. Even when it's not all love, it's love. You know, I'm learning how to love it regardless. I love it when I love it, and I love it when I don't love it. It's still love. Love comes from it. That's I need to remember that in all areas. I'm still growing, literally. I'm really not still growing in height. I'm actually at max height, I think, if we're done. Um, okay, I like that you did that. Let's pull up both of them. I want to see this, being that you know that information. Um, let's adjust this. Um, Let me adjust this too. Yeah, okay, we're gonna have this. Okay, Sun in Cancer, Moon in Aries, Cancer rising. Bear with me. I'm putting these locations in there. I notice how Jupiter is definitely the traveler for certain. Okay, we're looking at Cancer and we're looking at Leo. Interesting. Bada pow. All right, bear with me. I haven't started your time yet. I'm still calculating, configuring. Bada pow. Okay, we got bada both of them. Bada pow. Bada pow. You're actually currently on in a place where Venus comes closer to the ascendant. Is it closer? It's not closer, actually. But it's in its 12th house. It's exposed into the public. Not for nothing. The public's rays. All right, wait a minute. Bear with me. Still calculating. Ba-da-bop. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here, for double tapping. Thank you for those that have left. Thank you for those who may watch this video again. Subscribe. Sundays, we're doing in here, doing interpreting cosmological things. Ba-da-bop. All right, let's see. Okay, so you're going from you're going from you're going from a you're going from you're going from a first house to a seventh house this year, or first house to second house. Excuse me. You much rather you found me? You just randomly on here and you just found me? That's awesome. Chip it, chip, chip it, chip it. Okay, let's set an alarm timer rather. Okay, 15-minute timer. Now let's go back here. All right. Um, so I want to bring attention to the birthplace chart, not for nothing. What jumps out at me with your question or with your try, what you said that you're trying, right? Which I would agree to disagree. But um, this planet here, Jupiter, at 16 degrees, it's approaching the ascent, right? So it's coming, if you will. I want to say that it's coming. I also want to notice how Cancer has Aries in the 10th house, and Saturn is also coming, if you will, by birth. And the main see Saturn, I've been looking at Saturn as, kind of like Jupiter, not for nothing. Saturn is not Jupiter, but I've been looking at Saturn as Jupiter and Saturn, like kind of a little lot more closer. They're actually closer in the order of the planets of the solar system. It goes Jupiter, then Saturn. It's interesting how we look at Jupiter as the one teacher. Saturn is also the teacher. Jupiter is the teacher of more and expanse, and Saturn is the teacher of less. But in that lessness, I don't know about lessness, but in that phraseology of less is more, I think of, or what comes to mind is routines and the importance of routines and maintaining those routines that brings the career and the lifestyle and the work to fruition, through taking action, being serious and intentional and taking action. Saturn deposits Mars here, and Jupiter is there. Given that for it. I would like to see here a little bit. Give a little time window here for you. 'Cause I know that sometimes when looking at your own chart, excuse me, takes a little time. So Jupiter's going retrograde to the 15th degree, right? So let's look at that 15th degree, and then bada Jupiter kind of shoots. When I say shoot, I mean sprint. It's going to be in Leo like by the summertime, not for nothing, and for something at the same time. So April of or by May 5th, Jupiter's at 19 degrees, right? So this shit could happen real quick. Just find a cadence, just work with that cadence and go with your feeling, like Cancer on the ascendant. Sun in Taurus, excuse me, it's not Sun in Taurus. Hang on a second, bear with me. Let me confirm this information. Let me take a deep breath. So the Sun in Cancer, Moon in Aries, and Leo on the ascendant. What I'm trying to say is that Saturn ingresses into Aries on February 14th, and it stayed there for approximately 2 years. Saturn was already in Aries like 6 months ago, and then it dipped back into Pisces. Like there were some more lessons that needed to be learned. Saturn is not to be looked at as this doom and gloom planet. I've been saying this and I've been thinking this and I'm recognizing that Saturn is the teacher. There's another teacher. It's just a teacher about less and taking things away. You don't need that. Get out of here. We're done with that. No more scatter packing. No more hoarding. We're done with that. Excess anger. Out of there. Charisse, thank you so much. You started investigating. Charisse, you are so inquisitive. You're such a researcher. Honestly, you're such a researcher. So it's about getting rid of stuff, if you will. And so I want to share with you about the anxiousness, like because Mars and Leo, it can be a little bit anxious, you know. Saturn, like in astrology, when the planets that are like overhead or towards the top of the chart are kind of like pivotal. These are things to look up to that we kind of look up to. They it's kind of like an individual being on a podium and speaking a presentation, right? You listen to that presentation. What is that presentation? What's that presentation? What's it talking about? It's talking about slowing down when it comes to action, being serious, more intentional about the action. And intentional looks like a routine, but not a strict routine where it takes so much away from you. Right? It's a little at a time. Don't let me saying that Saturn is the teacher by taking things away, don't interpret that as taking everything away all at once. It's still step by step. Notice how I want to bring your attention back to this Earth trine, this Earth family, if you will. Virgo, which is green, colored green, Capricorn, which is green, Taurus is green. Right? I'm looking at this trine because Saturn is the planet that rules Capricorn. And it's part of this Earth trine material. You said you're trying to get more. I'm trying to get a bag. I'm trying to get a bag. And Saturn is the key. Saturn is one of the keys, right? Saturn is at the top of the chart. So I used to look at Saturn as doom and going, oh no, it's in the 10th house. Oh no, it's scary. I'm scared, nervous. Saturn. right? But it's actually a reward. Saturn brings honors and recognition in form of a trophy or a certificate when one learns how to have a routine. Be very honest. Hi, how are you? Virgo, welcome. We're going to get to you. You came in at the perfect time. Look at that, right? Came at the perfect time talking about the Earth trine. Virgo is a routine. Notice how the tying of a shoe, the tying of the shoe doesn't come Friday. We don't tie ourselves for the whole 24-hour period. It's a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, piece by piece. And then you get a routine. It becomes solid like bone. And what have you acquired? You acquired the ability to tie the shoe with your eyes closed. So Saturn and Aries works on everybody's Mars station. And it's important for, it's quite significant for your Mars because your Mars is on the ascendant. This relocation chart, not for nothing, with Mars on the ascendant, and Mars is actually really comfortable here. So no half stepping, no like, oh, I don't know. No, like do it. Like for hope to be put down, hope for someone to say no, look for it to for someone to say, oh no, you're not a fit, you're not a good fit. Right? Still have that energy and that enthusiasm, like, yo, hey, yo, I can do this, and this. You need somebody? No. All right, that's cool. Go over here. Yo, I can do this. Somebody? Because that's Mars. Mars is like gonna keep going. Perhaps Saturn molds that Mars, right? It's a molding, if you will. And it takes a little bit away. Maybe you're like, hi, how are you? This is the Saturn mold. Hey, how are you? Please. I'm Artemis, da da da. And I can do this. I can help your company like this. And this. Oh, I'll still call you on Wednesday, right? Saturn is a little more stern, a little more head up, chin up. You know what I'm saying? It's the structure, it's the resume, it's the however, like it's a little bit more, you know, it's more through less. Interesting. Sharice, I appreciate you. I did see that you purchased the Zoo book, Celestial Wisdom. I appreciate you. That is awesome. You're so observant. I was giving you kudos for your ability to research while you were over there. Seek and ye shall find. Right. So I want to go back here. Um, I know I spent quite a bit of time on that, but that is an important feature for the next 2 years for you, and a way to get the bag by being direct, all by being direct. Um, and so we're going from first house to second house. You're in a phase, you're phasing from first house to second house. You're still in the first house phase, which is another testimony that points to that Mars and that Venus, not for nothing, and for something at the same time, right? Because by birth, you have Venus and Mars there. By relocation, we have Mars there. So it's almost like if the universe was saying something by your move, it was saying, Mars is coming closer to the ascendant, right? Maybe a little more force, a little more action. A little more action where, right? Because the sun is the ruler. The sun is the ruler of Leo, and it's situated in the 12th house, your hidden potential. A little more action on what? A little more action on your hidden potential. What is the hidden potential? The hidden potential, we can despise it by looking at the moon, your moon in Aries, again, right? Which is teaching. Now in your relocation area, it's teaching, and it's using your wisdom. It's close to a counselor or a supervisor, right? With your ability to uh where's Jupiter at? Jupiter is in Cancer, which reinforces teaching. You have Jupiter in between your Sun, Chiron, and Venus, right? Jupiter is eventually going to line up with your Venus, and then it's gonna be at your Leo degree, actually. what I'm trying to say is that it's coming. It's a matter of you maintaining what it is that you're doing and being more stern in your delivery. Mars is about confidence, right? It might not be in the presentation. Some of these um, positions might have to do with you specifying whatever it is that the job is asking for to specify that on your resume. I don't know why I'm thinking about that, but that is what comes to mind. But it's about essentially and energetically, it's about action. Now let's look at the seventh house with the relocation a little bit. Specificity on the resume and cater to the exactly to what that job is. Go for a big paying job and put the specification there, especially if you know you can do that. Put it on there. Put it on there and rock with it. And then you can do smaller increments. Saturn is less. So when you say, "Oh, I'm going to start posting regularly," it doesn't mean that I have to dump out all this content. Like I stopped posting, honestly, to tell you the truth, and I'm just doing lives for real, for real. You know, 'cause that shit is burning. That shit will burn a person. But I could do this like clockwork. I enjoy doing live and just being myself. This is what I enjoy doing. You know, maybe the posts that you do are shorter. Not It's not a whole bunch of information. It's less. Saturn is molding that Mars to be less and fun. Mars in Leo, less from Saturn in Aries to everyone's Mars, less fun, right? Mars in Aquarius would be less knowledge, less knowledge. Less knowledge is more, but impactful. So let's look at this stellium in Aquarius, right? Because the sun and the stellium in Aquarius focuses on your seventh house now. So it's more about you creating your contract. What do you want? Like before you even fill out an application or any of the resume, do any of the resume shit, like what sit down with yourself. What's the number that like what do you want? What's the number? Okay, in order for me to be good, I would need this, but I would really like this. Set that stake, see what that is. What is that hourly? And set that as a bar for yourself. Just because and I'm saying this because this applies because Mars is on the ascendant and being direct, the more direct you are, Mars and Leo is powerful in the first house. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you do crunch the numbers and you end up like with $63 an hour. You know, look on ChatGPT, like what jobs near me pay $63 an hour for my skill set, for what I can do, you know? Because the sun in Aquarius is knowledge. If we're gonna apply this shit, then apply it. What is Aquarius? Aquarius is knowledge. I'm contracting to knowledge. I'm contracting to show forth and prove knowledge, and I agree that I can do this, to the best of my ability. Like find it. It's okay to be down in the dumps, you know. We're gonna be down in the dumps, be down in the dumps, and then get out of the dumps, you know, and rise up with that. For Pete's sake, Jupiter is approaching your Venus. So having a routine as it builds up, as we get closer and closer to it, we have the routine that starts to take form and take shape. Right? I want a job that it's not only about the money, right? It's also about the time that you have with other areas of your life too. Like write out your schedule. What does it look like? I can do this, this, and this. And then that right there, by doing what it is that you need, by writing that shit out, then when it comes to being in an interview, then you're gonna be like, oh wow, okay, so yeah, boom. They're gonna be like, oh well, can you come in on Saturdays? Well, Saturdays, I have this obligated, but I can come in a little bit earlier on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, because you've already ran that play in your head. You already have a routine. Do the routine that's comfortable for you. And you already have some routines already because there's already obligations that you have. And so those will fill up time slots. And so while you're in the dumps, observe what it is that you're doing, right? Okay, from this time to this time, I'd like to do this. Dinner times from here to here. Da, da, da. If I have a sitter, okay, I'm gonna do that. How far is that? Da, 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 da. Start working that. Start seeing what it looks like. Part of it is the creation of it, and part of it is seeing what it is. What do you have access to? You know, I think dumps and depression comes with the lack of knowledge or the application of a technique. Let's look at that. Depression, I think that I said I think that depression, Capricorn, a shadow side of Capricorn is depression, comes from, right? Capricorn in the 12th house, a lack of applied knowledge, a lack of applied knowledge. Aquarius is the truth and the knowing what it is that I need to do, and Capricorn would be the depressed. Because when I'm depressed, I'm looping what I'm depressed about. It's not forward and progressive, which is what Aquarius is. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? And we could possibly, potentially, it may benefit you to have increments like spurts. Mars is a sprint, a 40-yard dash. It's not necessarily a decathlon, right? So Saturn is shaping, right? That Mars short little sprints. What does that look like in real time? That looks like, okay, I'm going to set 20 minutes. Lab coach said, I need a routine. A routine doesn't mean that, in the beginning that you do something every day. It's first it's observing, okay, what time do I have to do that? Okay. Um, my child goes to bed at this time. I have like at least 2 hours here. Or just 20 minutes. Let me do 20 minutes of looking at that and I'll just leave it and I'll go back to doing what I'm doing. Go back to the depression if that's if you're comfortable there. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it, but you still spent 20 minutes on it. Even if you want to go further, set a time frame for yourself and be strict about it, right? Like Saturn time in Aries is militant with it. Be militant with time. Set it for 15 minutes, a shorter time. And then once the alarm hits, stop. And what that does is because once you stop, if you have a momentum and you stop it at 15 minutes, you're gonna be like, damn, I want to go further. But tease yourself, be like, no, put that to the side. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take 30 minutes. And you'll notice, like when you play that little Jedi mind trick on yourself, you'll be thinking about it while you're on break. You'll set a little break time. Okay, I want to take a break for an hour. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to go back into depression. Now, see, let's see if you're going to be depressed that whole time. I'm almost positive that you'll go back to that thought. Oh, what if I put this Lego here and put that Lego there, and I put this Lego over there, right? And so that's Saturn at the 10th house because Saturn at the 10th house marker makes a 90-degree aspect, which is a square to each other. That square and that angle is and can be interpreted as an angle for growth. It's an angle for stability. If you look at a foundation, it has strong corners, right? If you look at a doorway, it has strong corners. Anything that has strong corners, I'm looking at this ductwork up here, and it has strong corners, strong angles. That's growth. It keeps that ductwork in an alignment. You see what I'm saying? Um, Another feature too. Let's look at this because this is another testimony that points to what it is that I'm sharing. Look at how this stellium in Aquarius has been popping up. Look how Mars and Pluto came together in Aquarius. What does that disposit? It disposits Uranus, knowing your worth. There's an exercise. right? I'm going to spend 20 minutes to see what I'm worth. Okay, I know how to do this. I know how to do this, and this. Now I have a list of things that I know that I can do. I'm speaking to Aquarius, the relationship between Aquarius and Capricorn, because when you were born, Uranus was in Capricorn. And so, even one of the benefits or the ways to get out of depression is by going into knowledge. What do you know? What do I know? What do I know? What do I know? What do I know? Capricorn is in your sixth house. The sixth house is the house of health and routine, right? We think of a routine like brushing our teeth or something like that. And that is a routine. But I'm not talking about a routine that's that strict in the beginning. I'm not talking about a routine that's that strict in the beginning, because if you're in the beginning stages and you're going through depression, you're a little more lax, you're a little bit more um, graceful with yourself. You know, you're not like a drill sergeant. You're not like an asshole boss, like, go on, Artemisia, what are you doing? You're goddamn, you're depressed. Get out of there. All right. Let's do increments. Let's do small shit. Let's do small, short shit. Let's do sprints. Like Mars is a sprint, right? Mars is directly in opposition and opposed your Mars. So I'm pretty sure that over the course of the past, maybe week three to 7 days, you had a little spurt, a little, hey, you want to do this? You want to, you want to come out of that a little bit? You want to do some of this? Oh, no. That's a good idea, though. That right there is a mark and it's a sign. It's an energy that's showing its face, right? Because the benefits are coming, right? The benefits are coming, but we have to be ready for the benefit. Shit ain't easy. Huge elaborate plans, resolutions and elaborate plans don't work. And, like we can even look at the body for a moment. Let's look smaller, smaller, more intentional sprints. Saturn's about to show you that shit. Well, Saturn's not going to do shit to you, but symbolically, theoretically, and symbolically, we can interpret Saturn by its 30-year cycle, that being a long time, right? As patience and time and for the molding of a sprint. Imagine this symbol Saturn right next to Mars, wherever it is, right? So if Mars in Aquarius is the activation of knowledge, then Saturn as an attachment, like Transformers on Mars, can be like taking action, being patient in my action with knowledge, being patient in my action with my child, like not an elaborate plan with the child. Leo is children, right? Short shit. You see something, you want to change it, you see that it needs to be drastically changed. Even in you seeing that there needs to be a drastic change, that comes with increments. Like, for example, my daughter, she lied to me. Someone was like, oh, your daughter lied to you. You should, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's elaborate. In past ways of being, I did act like that, but no. Because part of it is contemplating, okay, she did that. Okay, is that normal? Is it normal for people to lie? Survey says, ding, you know, just for the story's sake of story. Somebody was like, oh, you don't want your child to lie. Excuse me. Hello, hello, you lie. You lie. And I'm not saying that you're a liar, he's a liar, she's a liar, but it's the design. The mind is always creating things. It's kind of Mercury doesn't ever stop running. Mercury is constantly doing all these things. Maybe you don't do it intentionally and you don't mean harm toward that person, but we all lie, including my daughter. She lies, and that's part of the design. For me to say, oh, you're lying to me, blah, 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 blah. Hey, we're going to share something with you a little bit short. I used to talk to my daughter for like these hours. I shrunk it into 2 minutes. Short sprints, short shit, and kept it light too. kept it light. You know, I'm so proud of myself for talking to my daughter about something that I was really hurt by, lightly talking about it, and her even apologizing before I finished talking about it in a short sprint. And then us talking about something else after it. Like, leave it, done, short sprint, yeah, done. You know, you're in a first phase. You're in a first house phase. You're in a first house phase. Your Mars is already there. You've relocated to a place where Mars is more on the ascendant, right? What is Mars? Mars is inspired. What inspires me? What can inspire myself to pump my heart, to activate my heart more physiologically? I could run in place. I could run in place. I could do some physiological stuff. It's not always thinking, you know, it's exercise. I could run in place. And it doesn't mean have to be hard neither. It could be like lightly tapping your feet on the floor, like just getting it going, like getting a light sweat, you know, and then taking a shower. You know, because sweat is important too. Sweating, physical fitness is what gets the brain going. It's interesting when you look at the astrologia of it. Aries is a fire sign, physical. It fits Leo, heartbeat. You know, things that make the heartbeat fast. Sagittarius is the thighs. You know what I'm saying? The running, the moving, the walking. You know, those are physical things. Those are movement, right? Movement. Notice how the fire signs are in harmony with the air sign. Ooh, Gemini, thought provoking. Libra, oh, thought provoking. Aquarius, oh, ow, thought provoking, right? For those of you who are in relationships, you can recognize when your partner works out and there's some walk, there's a little more alertness. Hello, hello. All right, I've talked um, way too long. Are y'all still there? I got a little excited and passionate for a moment. I'm working on being um, a little more patient in my delivery. Right. And that's what I would give you. That's what I'm sharing with you. Um, that's is one feature that's gonna help out so much. It's gonna help out so much. What do we else do we have? We have Taurus. We have Uranus and Taurus here. Uranus and Taurus. What is Uranus and Taurus doing? Uranus and Taurus is getting ready to transition from Taurus to Gemini. Taurus to Gemini. What is Taurus to Gemini? What does that wave speak? It speaks about values, right? Value information, valuing information. Uranus is on its way towards your Mercury, right? So that physical, little bit of physical fitness, like light tapping, like it's just like it's really light. I mean, you could do it late at night. You've got neighbors upstairs, downstairs. You could barely socks on. Oh wow, I'm sweating. Take a shower. Done. Short sprint. 15 minutes. See how I did. Oh wow. Got my heart rate up. Got my bad literally Mars and Leo. Literally. Literally Mars and Leo to excite knowledge. You're creating an access. You're applying astrology in a way where you're activating your body, your temple physiologically to activate a certain portion area of the chart that signifies the knowledge and truth. The truth. Exercise brings truth. That's crazy. How does that happen? Exercise and fitness brings truth, and it also makes you tired. You broke your foot, right? And that's natural. That's natural. You broke your foot, so you know you can't walk. You know, can you walk now? Is your foot better? Is your foot better? Oh, you go take off the boot. Okay. Um, so it's getting better. You can do other exercises other than walking. Not for nothing. You could lay on the floor. You could lay on the floor and raise your legs a little bit, and you can work on your midsection. It still hurts, but not like it was. There's some exercises you can ask Chat GPT or Google. What are some exercises that I can do to work up a sweat if my foot's broken? Not much stuff that you could do. Sharice, thank you so much for your energy. I appreciate you so much for showing love. Welcome in, y'all, if you're coming in here. Appreciate you. Double tap for likes. Um, we're doing donation based deep dive interpretations. I'm eating parsley and drinking tea. I would say do it for shorter, Artemis. I would say chop the 15 minutes in half. Chop the 10 minutes in. So what? Chop the 10 minutes in half, and if that's too much, chop the 10, five, chop 5 minutes. Do 2.5 minutes. Do 2.5 minutes to start. Okay, I'm going to do 2.5 minutes for the next 20 minutes with 5 minute breaks in between. Just start. Fuck it. Just start. That's the action. That's the first house that you're in, all the way up to June. We're February, March, April, May, June. We only have 5 months. You have 5 months. Just start. Do something. Play some music. Get some music going. You know, get some music going. Right. I found that, you know, I don't know if this will help. It would benefit me to practice this a little more, but I'm thinking about smiling while being depressed. Like there's something about smiling while being depressed. Let me look this up because I've been thinking about this. What is the benefit to smiling while I am depressed? And it looks fake, like, but you don't have to do it in front of other people. Check this out now. Check this shit out. This is knowledge, and this applies to this because the sun is in Aquarius, so I'm sharing some knowledge with you. That's a really thoughtful question. And honestly, it shows you're paying attention to your inner state instead of just drowning in it. Smiling when you're depressed isn't about pretending everything is okay. It's more like gentle nudging your nervous system in a different direction. Notice how notice how it said nervous system. Notice how Gemini is the nervous system and it's the 12th house of the emotions. When we're in our emotions, the nervous system sometimes goes offline. Not for nothing. Check this out. There's more. Do you want more? Who wants more? Who wants more? Raise your hand if you want more. Yeah. Your brain reads your face like a report. Oh, without even looking at the mirror. It doesn't even say a mirror. It doesn't even say a mirror. It says there's something called facial feedback. Ooh, when you smile, even a small, soft one, the muscles in your face send signals back to your brain that say, we might be safe right now. Someone look this up. Don't believe me. Please, someone look this up. We need proof. I think the good Lord just shone his light on me. What happened? Oh, it's the reflection off the mirror. The good Lord just that can slightly reduce stress signals and help shift your brain chemistry away from full threat mode. Oh, it's not a cure, but it can take the emotional edge down a notch. That's all we need is a notch. We only need a notch. It's the little things. The good Lord really got the light shunning in. You see it shunning? Not shunning like saying the word sun wrong, but shunning like the shun. No, not like shun. The shunning like shown shun. Hugging yourself too. And I agree. Artemis, I am Artemis. It seems corny. That's one of the reasons I don't do it as much. But I would benefit from doing this even more too when I get into my little states of depression too, because we all get there, right? That's interesting. I'm learning something with you. Two. Well, first, do you want more? Do y'all want more? I have more. The live goal for thumbs up is 30. Who wants more? I think it's important. I don't think it's important. I've been recognizing for quite some time that there's a bit an importance to looking at the root meaning of words. Like I'm gonna get. I want to go into that word, please, but I'm gonna leave that for now. We'll get into that maybe later on down the line or in another video. Two, it relaxes your nervous system a little. Short sprints. Depression often comes with tight jaw, heavy eyes, flat or tense face. A gentle smile loosens some of those muscles. That can cue your parasympathetic nervous system. Here we are back at the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and restore side, to come online just a bit. Even a 2 to 5% shift matters when you're feeling low. Three, it creates micro moments of softness. I talk about micro mantras. This is micro moments of softness. Depression can feel like emotional concrete, heavy, stuck, gray. Depression can feel like emotional concrete, heavy, stuck, gray, period. Smiling, especially at something small, sunlight, mm, mm, thank you, sun god, a memory, a kind thought. Artemis, you're doing so well. Take that as a memory, a thought. Artemis, you're doing so well. Micro mantras are powerful too. Creating micro mantras and looking in the mirror and doing like 30 seconds. I don't feel like it, but let me do 30 seconds of smiling or 10 seconds. Cut it in half. It's too much. Do 2 seconds. All right. Maybe that little nudge was enough for you to say, okay, I'm going to do my exercise for 5 minutes. Right. Okay. Let me do the other side. Let me do the other side because I want the other side to be thankful. I want my other foot to be thankful. I want my broken foot to thank my other foot for helping out so much while the one foot is broken. Um, that reminder is powerful. Number four, it changes social energy. When you smile at someone, they're more likely to respond warmly. Wow. Whoa. 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 People start treating us differently when we smile. Wow. They're more likely to respond warmly. You may get eye contact, kindness, or a small positive interaction, especially from children. You definitely get that. Those micro connections can interpret isolation, which is one way depression's strongest. Wait, those micro connections can interrupt isolation, which is one of depression's strongest reinforcers, is isolation, which ties into addiction even. Isolation and addiction are, 12th house shit. Pisces, not for nothing. Don't want to be there. I thought I shared with you something for that. But anyway, but here's the important part. This is not about forcing a fake happy mask. That can backfire and make you feel more disconnected. Think of it like this instead, not a performance smile, a compassionate smile. The kind you might give a hurting child. Ooh, I read this book, Healing the Shame That Binds You. And this reminds me of that because in that book, it told me to get a picture of myself of when I was younger, preferably 7. I think it said 7. I don't remember. I have to read the book again. But the importance of that is like similar to doing the mirror work. When I talk about mirror work, when I first started doing mirror work, it seemed kind of corny. And I was like, this is corny. Right. But to be intentional about it, and I started myself off, I did short sprints, with small increments. And then I built up to it to a point where I actually did it and I actually started crying. I was like, holy shit, what is this? And I was like, wow, this stuff really does work. Not for nothing. But I was saying all that, what I'm trying to say is that the picture of yourself when you were younger has, and you're in the older state, you feel some kind of way about your younger self. And you just look at the picture of your younger self. It's powerful. Similar to mirror work. Not for nothing. What does this have to do with astrology? It has to do with empowerment. Because that's what astrology is for. This is what I have recognized the benefits of utilizing this shit for, even. It's not a performance smile, it's a compassionate smile, the kind you might give a hurting child, but directed inward. The little child in you might have been hurt at that age. When was it hurt? When was the child hurt? Where's that picture at? I want it. Smile at it. Hey, little buddy, get over here. Give you a hug. It's okay. You're safe. Believe it or not, that actually works. That's actually in certain kind of therapy, I think. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Just take it as a grain of salt. Do your own research. Don't believe me. Please don't believe me. Shh. The kind you might give a hurting child. We read that. You can even try this. Slight smile, hand on the chest, slow breath. That was like less than 5 seconds. That's a rep. You have 6-year-old you on your bathroom mirror. Perfect. Right? Take it down. Miss it. Where is it? Where am I? Put it somewhere else. Right? You can do this as a rep. Bodybuilders, they do 12 sets. They don't do 12 sets. 3 sets of 12. Ugh. Muscles. Oh, I'm strong. Right? When it comes to the psyche and depressors, people who are depressed, you know, they do slight smile, hand on the chest, slow breath. Rep 1. Rep 2. Maybe do 5 reps. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't even know if this shit works. Try it. That combination can be surprisingly regulating. If the depression feels heavy, if the depression feels heavy lately, you don't have to carry that alone. But the fact that you're exploring small self-support tools like this, that's a sign there's still a part of you fighting for your well-being. And that part matters a lot, Artemis. That's what I have for you for now, right? With the depression thing. Not easy. Not saying that it'll just go away immediately at that. Might not even work the first time. I don't know. You got to experiment with it. You don't have to. but possibly, potentially by experimenting with it, we'll find some results. It's interesting that I talk about being the lab, the what do I call myself? The scientist and the test subject. Because what just crossed my mind, a vision that I had was the idea that Aquarius is man-made things. You know what I'm saying? Man-made things are the scientists, the Frankenstein, the Khan, the Amaru Khan, the indigenous priest, the king priest, right? And when Tuits and invents, you know what I'm saying? Amaru Khan. Um, what else do I have for you? That's what I have for you now. Not for nothing. I do want to share with you that you're in your Sati Sati. You're getting ready to go into your second phase of the Sati Sati. For a little bonus for you, right? What is the Sati Sati? Sati Sati is when Saturn is in the sign before your moon, in the sign of your moon, and then the sign after your moon is the three phases. You're getting ready to go into the thick of it, right? So you need some tools. You need some ammunition. You need some reinforcements. You need some you need some tools. You need some tools. Seek out some tools. These little tools and do short sprints. You know, that's a powerful piece right there, right? And know when it'll be challenged. Like know when astrologically when it'll be challenged when the sun is at the angles, right? Challenging. Like right now, this month, the sun was at an angle, challenging for you a little bit, right? You know, maybe a little lower, right? Earlier when the sun opposed your Mars, they brought up some anger, right? So look, work with that a little bit. Work with that. There's benefit there. Short sprints. Okay. Who's next? Thank you so much, Artemis. I appreciate you for sharing. Um, I have so much more for you. I would love to sit down with you and do a progression chart analysis. Um, I'm working on updating my services. Sadi Sadi, how do you spell it? Let me see. It's a Vedic astrology term. Someone shared it with me. That makes sense. I didn't know it was called Sadi Sati, and I didn't put as much emphasis on it like this. Sade, Sadi Sati. Y'all are more than welcome to look it up. It's powerful, heavy. Um, I might have gotten that wrong about the beginning, middle, and end. I'm not sure. You might have to read up on it. I might have to read up on it too. Welcome in, Neo Manova, Neo Manova. How are you? Welcome in. I'm doing deep dive donation based readings. The live goal is 50 thumbs up. We got 30 right now. I think I'm gonna take a break though, honestly. Oh no, I was supposed to look at something. Hey Ann, let me see if I had myself something. Let me see. Let me look right now. Thank you so much. Let me look. All right. Yeah, I froze because I went to go look to see. Did you um did you send $1 as a test? Yeah. Um That's good that you find one in person, but I sent you some that are actually online that you can do right from your phone, being that your foot is broke. I wanted you to send $1 to see if it worked because I don't see it. I don't see it. It didn't go through. You read my accurate name? Did you finish all the prompts? Because I know with Zell, there's so many prompts. I know I had shared with you to send $1. I don't know if you heard me. Let me check again. Yeah, do you see how it says pending? But um that shouldn't that's not the business. That's not the name. It should be the actual name that's in the bio. That's fine. Um, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. What time is it? 3:23. I'm gonna take a break and I'll be back. Um, yeah, but it says pending. That's why I didn't get it. I want to thank all of you for coming through here and double tapping, liking the live, contributing. Um, I look forward to hearing from you tomorrow morning, possibly, potentially, if you're ready. Um, iron some of these things out. Each life gets better. Value yourself. Bada pop.